Hey guys, good morning. I have not been on my channel in a while. A lot's been going on. Life has been crazy but good because I'm alive. So, I try hard not to complain, even though I do complain a lot. So, my health is doing pretty well. I am actually up. It's pretty early. It's like 7:30 here. I like waking up early, watching the sunrise, listening to the birds. It's like my me time. My time to think about what I'm doing for the day. My time to meditate. I like to listen to different speeches sometimes. And I just, like to have my me time. It's the only time I get in the day that I can talk with myself and say what I want to say. So I've been on this journey of having 7 brain surgeries, and then cancer again, and then stem cell transplant. And a lot of people, I feel like when you're done with cancer, or you're done with treatment, or there's like no disease found, or you're cancer free, there's this huge like sigh of relief you get, and then like your family gets, and then everybody around you will be like, okay, you're fine, like you're good. Which in a way, like, yes, but recovery and survivorship is really hard. And it's not talked about very much. And, sorry, I'm just going to bring this a little closer. And survivorship isn't easy at all whatsoever. It's not. And it's not talked about a lot. And that's insane that it isn't talked about a lot. Because I'm not understanding why people don't get that if you chose to do the route that I took, and I did the chemotherapy, the intensive chemotherapy, the super intensive second, dose, the high dose of chemotherapy, then the grueling, completely wipes out your whole immune system type of chemotherapy, and then get stem cell transplants, which means you have a whole brand new immune system, which means you have to learn your body all over again. So even now I'm learning my body. Like some things, like I broke out the other day because I had eaten a fruit and I was like, oh, maybe I'm allergic to that fruit now. Like, I don't know. I'm learning my body all over again. And I have aches and pains, and I have osteoporosis and fibromyalgia and kind of like rheumatoid arthritis put together because I have graft versus host disease in my bones and my joints. So I'm in pain like every single day of my life. My body is just deteriorating. My bones, I forget the disease name in my knee. Like my knee joint is deteriorating, which I already had arthritis in it, so it was bad. But I guess the chemo and transplant and everything just like took over, plus the graft versus host disease. So financially, also I want to talk about cancer is not free. Cancer is not cheap. Chemotherapy, medication, and stuff like that stuff is expensive. Even if you have the best insurance. And I, for one, had the best insurance that you could probably possibly have during cancer. I literally paid between like $0 and $10 for my copays. I was working with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. They have a copay program that if you're going through cancer or like blood cancer like I was, that they help with that. They also help with medication. They give you like a limit. I think my limit is like $7,500 on medication that you can get. I mean, there's so many things out there that people don't understand and that they don't get, and that's not told to them. So that's why I started Cancer is an Asshole. And unfortunately, right now, I've been having some site issues where some people can see it and some people can't, and we're not understanding why. I don't think it's the name, although asshole technically is a bad word, but I was on the phone with GoDaddy yesterday for like 2 hours. That's my provider, and and they said that it was my Optimum Wi-Fi and that it was just a server issue. So I'm gonna see if I can fix that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I have ADD. Also, I'm chemo. I have permanent chemo brain, and ADD from having chemotherapy. So there's that too. It's just, I see so many things, like as a cancer patient. The reason why I started my journey was because I wanted people to see what it was like, a daily life. A day in the life of a cancer patient. And then I started, my vlog, and then I ended up starting a blog, and then had my website, and then decided I really wanted to help others. So I've been putting up resources for so many other people, and I've been putting up a lot of, inspirational posts, and I have an Etsy store, and I love like inspirational things, like I post on there, and I just like want to make other people feel like what they're going through, they're not alone in. There are so many daily struggles when you have cancer, whether it is not feeling well, don't want to get up, needing to do laundry or cooking or cleaning or walking the dog, getting up out of bed to go to the bathroom. If you have kids, like taking care of your kids, paying for medication, getting medication, driving to get the medication, getting blood work, going to the doctor's office, getting chemotherapy, staying in the hospital needing chemotherapy, having MRIs and PET scans and blood draws and transfusions, and whether you had a port or whether you have a PICC line or just do the IV. There are so many different aspects of cancer that don't get talked about, that people don't know about, that people, if they're not like in the cancer with you, just think, okay, you're done. Like, no, it's not. And I think the hardest part about cancer is survivorship. I really honestly do, because first of all, it's financially draining. It's mentally and physically draining. You definitely need to have a therapist. If not a therapist, like a motivational coach or really good friends and family members to talk to, I really, really would suggest therapy, just because it's a lot. It's a lot for you to handle. You go through so many emotions, and it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. It's hard. I have days where I have panic attacks. If when I'm driving up to the hospital to go get my bone marrow biopsy, or if I just need blood work done, if I'm by myself, even if I'm like with someone, but if I'm by myself, my palms get really sweaty. I have to blast the music. My heart starts racing. I start panicking. I forget like how to drive. it's bad. And I get like that because I'm scared. Like, I don't want to go back up to the hospital. And I know it. And I talk to myself and I let myself know, like, hey, everything's going to be okay. We're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. We're going to get through this. But unfortunately, it does happen. And it happens quite often when we pass by hospitals. When we pass by the hospital I was diagnosed at, it happens. It happens with my son also. When he sees hospitals, he's like, oh, Mommy, that's where you lived for that little while. And I'm like, yeah. You know, and that hurts my heart because he remembers that I was in a hospital and I had to live there for a little while because I was sick. You know, so little things that come up that people don't really understand about and that take a long time to get rid of. The financial part of it. Even though I had really good insurance and most of my copays and stuff were like covered, I still had gas that I needed to go back and forth because after my treatment I was every other day at the hospital. That you have to pay for, like, if you want to drink food or drink, or you have to, you know, go to the store and buy food and drink to bring with you there, and then you have to pay for parking every time you went. It was $6, so it was $6 a day. Unless you parked on the street, it was more depending on what day it was. So if I was there for a long time and I was getting a transfusion, it was between like $3 to $8. Which stunk, but it was closer in the front because I really couldn't walk after transfusions. I mean, there's so many other factors. Like, all your money goes to fighting the cancer and like the things you need. Like, you need the extra sunscreen, you need the different medication, and if your insurance doesn't cover the medication, then you know, you have to find ways of covering it. So my insurance didn't cover some of the medications I was told I needed, like the mouthwash that I needed, so I had to pay out of pocket for that. Some of the stuff you have to pay, unfortunately, for. X-rays and copays were pretty much cheap, between like $10 and $20, but still, like, it's gas, and then it's everything else that you're paying. So you're still paying household utilities, you're still paying everything else, and then on top of it, you have all these astronomical hospital bills that are coming in saying that you need to pay them. So even though my bills were only like $300 here, $500 here, I think one, like, my 30-day hospital stay was only like $6,000, because of my insurance. Like, all that stuff, it adds up, and then you stress out, and you know, you like, there's no way in the world I'm going to be able to pay that down right now, and you stress out and you stress out and you stress out, but then, like, in the back of your mind, you're like, why are you stressing out about this? Like, there's nothing you can do right now. Just talk to somebody about it. Get a financial counselor. Talk to a friend who knows something about this. Like, it's okay, but you still get the stress. It's still a stress of having cancer, and it's in the survivorship part because it's totally financially draining, and that part sucks. So that's why I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to be real, be honest, bring awareness to cancer, all aspects of cancer, not just a calendar date or a color or a flag or a ribbon or whatever. I'm here to bring awareness to, like, I would love if someone in your family, if your mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, I think it should be free from every insurance company, that you are able to get a genetic testing to see if you have the BRCA, BRCA2, whatever it is, gene, to see if you too have the breast cancer gene. And then if you do, you can decide to get surgery or whatever. But I think you should be able to know that. I think it should be a right to know your genetics. And I also think it shouldn't be like a pre-existing condition and then you can't get insurance for it. I think that's like my main goal in life is to do that, because I have to get my son tested. I have a TP53 mutation. My grandma has it. And she, as far as we know, hasn't had any cancer or anything. She hasn't really been to the doctors in her life. Very old school. My mom has had skin cancer and cancer cells where she needed to have her uterus removed because they thought that she was going to have ovarian cancer. So they removed everything. So that's 2 cancer scares, and both of those things are listed under the Li-Fraumeni syndrome for the TP53 gene mutation. And then I have it. My little sister, who had brain cancer, doesn't have it. Her brain cancer was environmental. And there was a study done in Toms River when she was younger, about polluting in the water in a cancer cluster in Toms River, New Jersey. You can look that up. My sister was part of that. And then I have the G mutation. So there's a 50% chance my son, coffee, morning burps. There's a chance that my son has a G mutation. Not 100% sure. I do want to get him